Alright, we're getting ready to go. I've been here all day. This is our overnight park up. I didn't actually go to a different parking lot today because there's so many construction vehicles in here. I kind of thought we could get away with it. Now we're getting ready to go. Not bad. Hello.
Hello.
So, we'll talk about this more in Sunday's video, but basically, we're sitting directly in the sun. We don't really have the BTUs with our air conditioner to keep it super cool. Like, it keeps it from boiling in here, but it could be more comfortable. I ordered some fan boosters, but they're not going to be here till the 17th. I'm trying to get like a little ingenious with some battery fans that help. And it actually, it does help quite a lot. Actually. Much cooler and much more air coming out of it. And it does help pull more air through the rest of the vents by putting them up there. But I'm going to get a 270 CFM fan. I'm going to shove it up in there.
Shoving up in there?
Yeah, I'm going to shove it up in that. That's why I ordered it. It was 4 inches, so I didn't get it in there. If it doesn't fit, I'm going to glue it in. I'm going to do something so it stays there. It's going to have a plug on it, which is going to be a little ugly, but you know what? I'd rather it be a little ugly than a little hot.
Alright, I'm leaving our park up. Here's the hotel. We stayed way in the far corner. Headed to the office.
Some of you guys are probably wondering about our off-grid boondocking setup that we run here in the RV that we built last summer. I kind of thought that I'd take this video and show you guys what our day-to-day routine is and how we are able to stay without electricity or a plug-in, camped out in an urban setting in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. So a lot of why we do what we do is because of where Audrey's office is.
So here I am at my office. Look at all this stuff. This is why we were up in the cities boondocking though. My office is here and this is my setup for whatnot when I do live auctions. I like to keep a lot of my stuff on display all the time. So when I go live, it looks like my shop is open. It looks like a boutique sort of. Everything's out so people can see. Here's another corner. This is my jewelry workspace, I guess. Yeah, I know I have a lot of stuff. I'm working on some earrings right now of everything everywhere, but you can see why I was struggling to do all this in an RV.
And because there's not a lot of campgrounds in and around the metropolitan area here in the Twin Cities. An average hotel costs about 70 to 120 bucks a night on the cheaper end. Where we're parked, we don't really want the city to really just say, hey, we don't want RVs living there anymore because that one's been there too long. Part of what we do here is to one, get out of the city's hair for a little bit, and two, to get Audrey a little bit closer to her office. It costs about 25, 30 bucks a day to do this. Honestly, if we could find a campground that was 25 or 30 bucks a day right now, we'd probably jump on it. Most of them are about 10 to 25 bucks more if you can find availability in them this year. We choose to do this instead. It's a low cost way, kind of just live and get Audrey back to work. I know we're making a lot of noise now with this generator running, but it's the middle of the day and I'm charging up our batteries. And I know that towards the end of the day, once the sun goes down and those batteries are all charged up, I can shut this off. The batteries that I'm talking about are underneath the bed, and I built basically a 250 amp hour lead acid battery, and then I put two 24 volt inverters in the basement here. So one of them you've seen before, and the other one is on this side. But both of those inverters allow me to run about 6,000 watts of power off those batteries at any given time. So we have all of the electricity that we need in here when that generator is not running to keep our AC running, keep everything running. Here's another thing that I did last summer is I took that old AC unit out. This AC unit was an old unit that used 2 compressors and needed 50 amps to run. And we were plugged into a 15 amp extension cord all last summer. So it wasn't gonna work for us. And not only that, but it didn't even work. So it wasn't even really worth fixing. Getting people to work on them is hard to find sometimes. So what I did is I went to Lowe's and we found the most efficient window air conditioner I could buy from General Electric. Well, I Frankensteined it. And I made it fit in there. And it does a pretty good job. It has about 12,500 BTUs of power. And I'll show you what we do inside to keep cool when we get in there. This is letting me run everything with the smaller generator because we did have to replace that and still keep relatively cool. So this generator is a GenMax 3300i. It replaced a Champion, I think it was a 4500 watt generator that I had in there before that was overheating because it was just too big for this hole that I had in here. Before that was the old Onan generator, and when I bought this, mice had crawled into the old generator and rendered it pretty much useless. It was going to cost $2,500 to fix. So far, I have about $800 in the two generators, and after I wired this up, I can actually fill it from the gas tank in the RV with this button. We're back inside now. You can see I have everything sealed up really tight in here, and those of you who've ever had an RV know that these things leach a lot of heat. When I drove up here first night on Saturday, it got up to like 88 degrees in here, which is almost intolerable, and that was with the AC running at pretty much full clip, and it took us about a day and a half for me to get it comfortable in here to where I wasn't killing the batteries at night with the air conditioner. They are lead acid batteries, so they do have more limits than lithium iron. Eventually we will upgrade to them, but for me the most important thing was getting the right inverters and the right system built. I built everything to be used with up to 400 amps, knowing that we were never going to exceed 200 amps. So it literally has twice the capacity of our max load on here, which almost never happens. So it's an overbuilt system. Its only weakness is lead acid. I did notice that while we were driving, the engine makes a lot of heat. So what we started doing is I took another one of these thick rugs that we just had lying around, and when the engine isn't running, that gets a nice thick blanket to help insulate it. We have our side insulation up. We have this in. I pulled the Reflectix back out. We shoved it in the windows. I have everything I could think of. I even on Amazon ordered a new vent, our new 270 CFM 4-inch fan that I'm gonna plug in on one of these. But for right now, I just have some battery powered fans in here, guys. It's kind of ghetto. They're zip tied up, and I'm basically just trying to amplify the cold air from here because these are the furthest vents from that air conditioning system. It only has 12,500 BTUs. It does have its limitations on hot days. I will give it that. This room is significantly cooler. You can see how much darker it is in here. And we're gonna just probably hook all this up and go racing. This is usually what I do because this is the cooler room, so I'll just hang out in here all day. If I get too hot and sweaty from racing, I got ice packs in the freezer. This freezer runs on a battery during the daytime, a little motorcycle battery, and then at nighttime I plug it back into the 24-volt battery and it runs off the inverter system. So it's really helpful. It's really handy for us. It's a 120-volt fridge, but the compressor actually runs, I think, on 12-volt. Don't quote me on that, but they're like low. The thing is that these things are very low energy. They take about a kilowatt to start, and then they run about 100 watts after that. So it's really helpful for us. Saves us a lot of energy and keeps our food nice and chilly. On a motorcycle battery during the daytime, just blows my mind. What else do I want to talk about in here? I think in the future, she hurt her foot the other day, so she's kind of bummed. She hasn't been able to go to the DOG park and play as much as she wants. I think in the future, I want to get like an EcoFlow, one of those other portable air conditioners, and I always knew that this was going to be an option. I also talked about possibly upgrading or getting the air conditioner on the engine fixed, which would definitely help on a hot day. It's kind of counterintuitive though, to start up a big block to run an air conditioner. Ideally, what I would like to do is get like an EcoFlow. If anyone's listening, if anyone wants to donate us a battery-powered air conditioner to try out, you know, like we will put it to the test in here for sure. Because if I had just another 5,000, 6,000 BTUs, I think that I'd be able to keep it like down to 74 in here. And it's not that hot, really. It's like 92 in the sun right now. Let me show you. So it says 80.6 in here because I just got next to that thermostat and I'm all hot. It says 99 on the side of the bus in the sunshine, okay? It's 91 in my engine room, so I would imagine that it's probably about 88 in the sun, or in the shade right now, because you can see that's where my bays are kind of at, 83 and 88. Well, let's just say it's 84, we'll split the difference. So 99, 100 degrees in the sun, that's pretty hot for an RV, and we're starting to take on a lot of heat. So, but if I can keep it 80 degrees in here, and then once the sun goes down, it just cools right back down to like 75, 74 degrees, dude, that's perfect. Here's something else I think I'll put in the video too. We have not been able to get a hold of some vent covers for these that like will have the same bolt pattern. So we haven't really ordered them. We've been kind of trepidatious about them. But I noticed that trying to cool the whole RV was a fool's errand. So what I started doing is taking napkins and just shoving them in the vents that I don't want to use, so that these ones will have more pressure coming out of them. I've also started compartmentalizing everything. So there's no air. I have all the vents in the bedroom shut off, and I have the vent in the bathroom shut off. And then once the sun goes down, I'll open all that up, and then before bed I can cool it off down there, and then block off the vents up front here so that more air goes to the back than the front. Eventually, I think I'll get covers for all of these so I can just shut them and whatever. So I definitely need some fine tuning, and I know it's kind of a little janky right now, but guys, we're on a very tight budget doing this. Everything with us is just like sink or swim, and so any energy we can save, any attempt I can make to get it cooler in here, I'm gonna take advantage of. And so far, getting everything compartmentalized has definitely helped, especially knowing that I can shut certain vents off and help push the air where I need it, you know? It's important in an RV. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of a quick, show you guys what we do to stay off grid. Basically, I'll run that generator till probably about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight when the batteries are fully charged up and the sun is starting to go down, so we get rid of some of that daily heat that can build in here. With the sunshine, eventually, like I said, I'll have another 270 CFM fan that I can just plug in and run that will help pull more cold air through. And then future upgrades would be another portable air conditioner, battery powered air conditioner, something that I could run during the daytime that would charge up at night, or charge up during the daytime. I don't know, who knows? Anyway, I got plenty of power for both. It costs us, like I said, about 25 bucks a day to do this, which is much cheaper than a hotel, and it's cheaper than a campground. Would we stay in a campground if there were one closer to Audrey's office? Absolutely. And we might still do that. We might, on one of these hot days, we might just, you know, say screw it. Go set up at a campground and plug in and get this thing nice and cool. So we'll see. That's the other problem is I should talk about that. So the generator, because I haven't been able to figure out how to get that generator to run off of just the fuel tank from the RV. So I have to, every hour and a half, 2 hours, go out there and refill the gas tank on the generator and restart it. And when I do that, I have to shut the air conditioner off so it doesn't trip a breaker or like short circuit or nothing, because the transfer when the generator kicks back on is not fast enough, and the AC will actually shut off for several minutes. So I end up having to shut the air conditioner off, go refill the generator, and start it back up. And it's like a NASCAR pit race to see how quickly I can do it. Every time I do that, I lose like half a degree of cooling in here. And so by the end of the day, like I've probably heated it up like a degree, 2.5 degrees on hot days, just refilling up the generator. That EcoFlow would definitely help with that. If I could just leave something on and running while I went and refilled that generator, I wouldn't have as much heat loss in here, or cool loss. Anyway, but that's how we live. That's what we're doing right now. We're doing all right. You know, we've had a couple of problems, a couple of hiccups here and there, but luckily I'm me. We'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.